Manga-Waido.
My name is Takuma Ito. I'm 38 years old and unmarried. I live by myself in a city apartment. However, I'm seeing a woman with the intention of getting married. The other day, our parents met each other. I'm living my best life right now. It's almost too good. That's how busy I am. I'm a cardiovascular surgeon at a specialist hospital.
We have a code blue. Patient is a 65-year-old male, high blood pressure, previously admitted for an aortic aneurysm.
Back pain, right? Could it be an acute aortic dissection? Prepare a CT! Work is endless, and there's no room for mistakes. When I go to the call room, I sleep like a log and barely dream. But I don't regret becoming a doctor. That's what I thought, until that day. One night, a large man complaining of chest pain was brought into the ER. It seems he's been drinking. 38. Same as me. Ueda? The patient was my high school peer, Masayuki Ueda. As soon as I saw his face, horrible memories of him bullying me flooded my mind. Back then, Ueda wouldn't bully me personally. He was simply a member of the bullies and would grin and watch as I suffered. But from my perspective, all of them were bullies. I wished so many times that they would all rot in hell. I conducted the minimum number of tests and watched Ueda lying on the bed, thinking to myself, back then, I think I hated every day and wanted to disappear from the world. He was in a critical condition, but not so much that required operating on him without conducting thorough tests. After doing what had to be done, we had to wait for the results of the tests. That night, having secured a moment of sleep in the call room, I had a dream for the first time in a while. My high school self stood in the darkness, crying out, "This is your chance! Take revenge! You can't forgive him!" Ueda's operation date was set for the day after tomorrow. The next day, I got an opportunity to speak with Ueda, whose condition had stabilized. Ueda, it's been a while. Ito! Is that really you? You became a doctor? Hey, keep your voice down. You shouldn't exert yourself. With a weak voice, Ueda began to update me on his life. I listened to him, observing his condition, and composed myself sufficiently to have a calm discussion with him. The next moment, Ueda's expression suddenly darkened. What's wrong? No amount of apologizing could forgive what I did to you. I'm truly sorry. Ueda, I was astonished. Ueda voluntarily began talking about how he used to bully me. I only realized once I became an adult and a parent that I was a horrible person. It's fine. It's in the past. Plus, you weren't like the rest of them. No, I was the same. And it makes no difference that I'm now a policeman. That's right. Ueda had now become a policeman. As I left Ueda's room, I was feeling a complicated mix of emotions. Someone responsible for my childhood trauma is now a beacon of justice. The present is the present, and the past is the past. I knew that. And yet, I felt a tightness in my chest. In the depths of my soul, I could feel my high school self suffering in pain.
Dr. Itu, you seem a bit pale. Are you feeling all right?
After attending a conference on Ueda's operation, a nurse called Yumi Morimura came up and spoke to me. Yeah, this Ueda patient,
Shall we discuss this in a different room?
Having changed locations, I told Yumi about my past with Ueda. I haven't told people yet, but this is my fiancé, Yumi Morimura. I told Yumi everything, including what I've been dreaming about. I feel like a failure. I'm thinking about revenge in front of a suffering patient. The more I spoke, the more pathetic I felt, and I could feel my eyes filling with tears.
Don't worry. You're not a failure. Stop blaming yourself.
Yumi comforted me and cradled me in her arms.
You too must hug your high school self who's crying inside your soul.
Yumi.
I know it's been hard. But you're okay now. Tell him that you no longer have to take revenge.
You're right. I studied my breathing and began to feel myself calming down. There was no need to overthink this. I am a doctor, My job is to do everything I can to help the patient in front of me. That's it. Thank you, Yumi. I'm going to give it my best.
I'll be by your side. Together, let's help Yuri-san.
Yes! My mind was set. At least, that's what I thought. I explained the procedure of the operation in detail to Ueda and his family. It's not a simple operation, and I can't say it's 100% safe. But I do this type of operation every week, so don't worry. Got it, Ito! Thank you! My life is in your hands! I'll do my very best. I nodded confidently to Ueda, who looked worried. Ueda had an aortic dissection, a condition in which the inner lining of the aorta tears, allowing blood to flow into the wall of the aorta. We had to carry out an artificial blood vessel replacement surgery. It wasn't a simple procedure, but as I told Ueda, I was used to doing this type of operation several times a month, and with success. I calmed myself and proceeded with the operation as always. However, it can't be! The operation lasted 10 hours. After finishing, I went to speak with Ueda's family, who were waiting outside. There was a lot more bleeding than we expected, but we were able to manage it. The operation was a success.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ueda's only son, Shunsuke, was wiping his tears. I think he was trying to thank me. I felt a deep sense of relief. There were some complications, but I overcame my doubts and successfully completed the operation. However, a few days later, I received news that Ueda's condition had worsened. Sepsis. Bacteria had entered his bloodstream and spread all over his body. He was on the verge of multiple organ failure. Ueda was placed in the ICU, and I called out to him many times in my mind. Come on, Ueda! Come back to us! I, Yumi, and all the staff members did our very best to look after him. However, a week later, despite all our efforts, Ueda died. What went wrong? There was unexpected bleeding, and the operation took 10 hours, which was much longer than we planned. It's impossible to deny that had increased the risks of the operation. If only I'd focused more and shortened the operation time. If only I'd noticed and managed the unexpected bleeding sooner. Or had my negative thoughts towards Ueda gotten the better of me? As I sat spaced out in the relaxation room, Ueda's son Shunsuke approached me.
Doctor!
Shunsuke-kun! I braced myself. It was only natural he'd want to vent his anger towards me. However,
Thank you so much for looking after my father. My father was deeply touched after the operation.
huh?
He said it didn't matter that it was me. Uda did the very best he could. He was a true professional.
I couldn't believe Ueda had said such things. Shunsuke told me that Ueda had told his family about how he used to bully me. Talking about his past like that was by no means necessary, and must have required a lot of courage.
He said you really gave everything you had, and that he respected you for it.
I see. I couldn't find words to say. The time came for Ueda's body to be transported out of the hospital. I joined the family to pay my respects. Preparations proceeded quietly and solemnly. I was once again overcome by an overwhelming sense of powerlessness. There was no way we could have treated the sepsis. Both Yumi and my other colleagues reassured me it wasn't the fault of the operation, but it was I who couldn't save him. My high school peer, who I'd met after 20 years, and with whom I'd finally made amends with. Just then, Ueda's wife approached me.
Dr. Itu, thank you very much.
Please don't! This is my fault!
No, you should not blame yourself.
Ueda's wife kindly smiled at me.
My husband was always fighting with himself.
With himself?
Yes, until he came to this hospital and met you.
Ueda was troubled by the fact he'd become a policeman.
Whenever he'd drink, he'd say, I'm unfit to be a policeman.
He felt guilty about having become a policeman, despite once being a bully. Ueda, so you were also suffering.
But getting you to operate on him helped him overcome these thoughts. He said joyfully, Itu is the best. I want to be like him.
Watching Ueda's wife cry, I too became unable to hold back the tears.
Doctor,
His wife extended her hand to shake mine.
thank you for saving my husband's soul.
All I could do was bow my head. The staff and I looked on as the car taking Ueda's body drove away. The sensation of shaking his wife's hand stayed with me for a long time. I should have been able to save his life. These are the times when being a doctor is hardest. Burdened by the weight of handling human lives, I feel beaten up and like my heart is about to break. But nevertheless, I raised my head. Ueda's wife said that I saved his soul. But in reality, perhaps he saved mine. I must live for Ueda and work hard to help as many patients as I can. As I watched the car drive away, I made a promise to myself. Watch me, Ueda.